GCUE.
The podcast you have been waiting for.
6 friends, 6 opinions, infinite laughs.
You're watching history in the making.
You don't have to open up your eyes, you can clearly see.
The #1 podcast is GCUE. 20 years of brotherhood. The Q lot familiar. Raw, uncut, uncensored, and unfiltered. Bub's opinionated. Why Eddie keep you laughing? Steve will get the tea while Shot tells us all what's happening. Spiritual or natural. I'm here for the thrills. And when it comes to PJ, y'all, please say the real. From quick hits, heavy lifting, the mass to the week. We getting ratings through the roof every time that we speak. GA to the Aspens, turning podcasts into under-table has-beens, sports, entertainment, and current events. Sometimes we get pissed, so the crew got a vent. So when Friday night come, you know just what to do. Sit back, put up your feet, and now rocking with the Q.
What up? What up? Welcome back to another Friday with the GQ podcast. I'm Shad. We're excited to have y'all here joining us today on get into some pretty dope topics. Before we do that, the crew, let's start with Bub so he can give us his rundown.
Hey, what up, everybody? If it's your first time with us, we welcome you. If it's not your first time, we welcome you back. Just lay back, sit back, and enjoy the show.
Nice. And then we're going to jump over to the real PJ.
Look, I'm just waiting for Eddie to say something because I'm ready to argue with you, man. I'm calling you out.
Yo, it's Black History Month. Come on, let's practice
supporting each other.
Love.
All right, you're right.
We already color folks late, so let's show some love.
Nah, we ain't late. Just a little delayed. I'm gonna jump over to Steve. What up, Cuz?
Yo, it is Black History Month. I never in my life thought that I would say it, but I kind of want Black History Month to stop, yo. I'm tired of the fake ass Afrocentric icons that they are putting up on like Twitter feed. Did y'all see that shit American Airlines did with the fucking like dashiki wreath they put around their logo? Like, yeah, come on, man, like this shit. I'm tired of it, yo. Cause it's gonna be March 1st, and motherfuckers gonna be back to not giving a fuck about us. Like, just keep that shit. Keep the same energy.
I don't even think it's gonna make it to March, but
yeah, you're right.
And last but not least, the man sitting in the man cave with a team that ain't going to the Super Bowl. What up, Eddie?
I just want to say, fuck that nigga. It's like that.
What happened to I love everybody?
Yeah, I'm joking, man.
I don't think you're joking.
Nah, man. He's just mad because I don't think he beat me in fantasy at all this year, so he just mad.
Didn't.
Like, get on my level, player.
But here's the thing, because that's fine. I lost fantasy football, but this is like your real life team that you sitting in lost with.
Who's
it's all right
team,
though. We good.
You
we good. We can move forward. We can move forward.
Because I'm not worried about mine. My coach never had a losing season, so I'm just saying, like, we good. Shut up, Steve, because you want to know what, cuz? Yo, Cincinnati better than y'all.
Cincinnati better than y'all.
They bust their ass twice. Yeah, they fucked us up twice this year, like 30 or 40 something to 10. But anyway, yeah, what's up, man? I do love everybody, man. I'm just talking about my ish.
It's cool. Nah, you good, because speaking of people that ain't going to the Super Bowl.
Thank you for the great years. Thank you for the level of competition. Thank you for the class that you've exhibited throughout these 2.
Yeah, cut that shit short. It's Black History Month. Fuck Tom Brady.
Oh, so we just supposed to start talking about Tom Brady? All right, I'll take
fuck
this
Tom
one.
Brady. It's Black History Month. Next.
Listen, I always hated him, yo. Only because that's the one dude that ruled us. He has like I don't even know the exact numbers, but it's like a 12-4 record against my squad.
Yeah, he
something
had a
crazy
winning
like
record
that.
against every team in the NFL.
Fucks us up. Nah, you don't understand. You understand. Like
y'all never beat him in the playoffs. Is that what it is?
Did we ever beat them in the playoffs? No, we beat them.
No, y'all didn't.
That year. We didn't beat them.
No, the answer is no, y'all didn't.
But little unknown fact, Peyton Manning got a better record than him in the playoffs. So what is it, like 3-2?
Nigga,
against your
percentage. He got a better percentage.
Nah, when like head to head.
Oh,
both with the Broncos and the Colts. I think he's like 3-2 or
Stephen
something
A.
like
Smith explanation of Tom Brady made it worse.
Yo, but listen, real quick, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I hated Tom Brady. Couldn't stand this nigga. I was never gonna give him his props. I hate New England. I still hate New England. He left New England. I was like, all right, he's showing a little bit more of his human side now that he's down there in Tampa Bay. I fooled with him for a second, and then I had to remind myself that I don't like him. So there that goes.
I mean,
but he's great.
It's the end of an era. You know what I mean? Like the dude, he personified some greatness. You know, so you know it's kind of sad for football because, like, you know, I mean, it's fun to watch him lose because he doesn't lose too often. You know, like in 22 years, he went to 10 Super Bowls and won 7. That's kind of remarkable. That's kind of dope. And I know he had great teams, but now it's not going to happen no more. So
because he's 14-2 in the divisional round, 10-4 in the championship game, and like you said, 3 in the Super Bowl. I mean, that is dope.
It's Black History Month. I don't care about that nigga.
No doubt.
Yeah, but he was throwing the ball to some black people though, so he got some black people.
What? He allowed a black man to move in his house.
That was a heck of a segue, PJ. That was a heck of a segue.
Danny Amendola, fucking
Wes Welker, Julian Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman.
So no black people got rings with Tom Brady.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, because Antonio Brown got a ring.
But he's the whole reason.
Deion Branch got Super Bowl MVP.
Scrappy gym rat receiver exists because of him. But like I said, it's Black History Month, so fuck Thomas.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll give it a dude. I give him his legacy. He did some things that are amazing. I just don't like him. So the fact that I don't like him is good enough for me. So we're gonna kind of go from there. My computer hates me too.
Yeah,
my internet is stupid right now.
I can name at least 5 people that hate you, Shaw, but that's a different.
Oh shit!
Yo, cuz.
Wow.
Today, man.
He's on fire.
I'll turn your shit off and make you go back to your wife.
Oh shit!
So you're gonna cut him off and not allow him back in.
That would hurt me. I just make comments from YouTube.
We can block you. It's cool.
Oh my god, yo. I feel like PJ got a personal vendetta against us, yo. He don't like us for some reason.
I think it's his way of trying to get kicked off the show.
Get PJ to meet you downtown?
Say that again. I hear you.
I said, did you ever try to get PJ to meet you downtown?
There was a time when PJ used to meet me wherever we were going.
Yeah, and then it stopped. So that's all the evidence you need that he don't like us.
That's because he was scared. I wanted to go to the hood bars and he was scared. He didn't want to go to the pub for real. Yeah. Why are you always taking me there?
Yeah. Remember that dude shot the starter pistol and everybody got over that chain?
Yo, was that the same night as Polio Thug?
Nah, it wasn't the same night. But yeah.
I always get them confused. Those long young nights. But yeah,
it's crazy. All right. Speaking of long young nights and dumb Harrisburg Young Bulls.
Rihanna is pregnant with her first child. She's been hiding her growing baby bump in the streets of New York City, hand in hand with her man A$AP Rocky, and wearing tons of oversized outfits. Rhea and Rocky have been flaunting their love all over, even at fashion's biggest night, the Met Gala.
You know what? I'm an immigrant, and that's my take on American fashion.
A$AP Rocky recently told GQ that Rihanna was, quote, the love of his life, and Rihanna has not been shy about admitting her desire for kids. She told British Vogue back in 2020 that she saw herself having 3 or 4 children in the next 10 years. Riri is going to be one busy mama, running her billion-dollar empire and being an inspiration to all. And we can't wait to see how her pregnancy and motherhood inspires her style, because she always slays in the fashion department.
When it comes to this brand and this experience, because that's really what it is, you're always taking it to another level.
That's what we do. We redefine sexy. We want women to feel sexy no matter what society's told them before.
Now that Rihanna is expecting, we're still holding on hope for that heavily anticipated next album.
You're not gonna expect what you hear. Just put that in your mind. Like, whatever you know of Rihanna is not gonna be what you hear. I'm really experimenting. And music is like, it's like fashion. You should be able to play.
Yes. The nigga who went to Harrisburg High knocked up Rihanna. I don't care if it was only for 3 days. I don't care if you can't graduate. Susquehanna can't say that.
Culture.
McDevitt can't say that. East can't say that. You know what I mean? Can't nobody else say that.
Did he actually go to the higher? Was
Drake can't say that.
there
Chris
over the
Brown
summer?
can't say that.
No, he actually went to the
He went to
school.
yeah.
Nah, he was here for yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Boom. We all won.
Harrisburg alum.
That's the closest I'm ever gonna get to that hall pass with Rihanna.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Listen. What he learned at Harrisburg High is what sealed that deal. I don't care what nobody say.
Oh, definitely. Like that's why he's gonna ghostwrite her next album. That's why she said it ain't gonna sound the same. Like he gonna make a whole bunch of her whole album gonna sound like some ASAP shit. They were like, "What? What is this?" They were like, "What is this?" He like, "Yeah, I learned that back at Harrisburg." That's what it is. That's what he
like the why.
Yo, yeah, he shot out for that, but like outside that, I'll take all the other stuff.
Man, everything else except that.
Yeah, man, you can't call us. We wasn't like The Wire. Like it ain't that bad.
All right, so that's the whackness. All right, so before we jump into the main topic, we got this.
He was just trying to
versus...
pump up the city, man.
Oh, you on delay?
Oh, that's a hell of a delay.
Valentine's Day
Let
versus?
him fix that real quick. Yeah.
Please welcome Music Soul Child.
Anthony Hamilton is here.
Let me be the first to say, I don't care.
Oh shit! Yeah, you beat me to it.
I don't care. That's just gonna be dumb. Because Anthony Hamilton,
I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
Anthony Hamilton, fam, you couldn't find nobody else to go up against Music Soul Child.
Yeah, I don't think he got 20 hits.
20 hits. I think he got.
I don't think he got 20 songs.
Yo, we got 2 intros. We got as many hits as Charlene and Come Where From I'm From. So I think we can do a verse. Yo, we can do a verse against Anthony Hamilton. Like we don't got to sing. We can just play our intros and we go compete against him. Music got a way bigger catalog. Like his first album's classic to me.
Yeah.
I would rather him go against somebody like Joe. Like I thought, like that's been around and has some more like I don't know, but I was.
Did Usher already go?
Usher's not doing that. Usher's making money.
Yo, I told y'all
in
I don't
Vegas,
know how long ago. Ain't nobody who can sell out an arena or make actual money on tour doing the verses.
Yeah, Usher's doing a residency in Vegas. He been there for a minute. Jaheim called him out.
He been wearing them fucking platform shoes.
Jaheim
Jaheim
and Anthony Hamilton could have went together. That could have
made more sense.
Like,
yeah,
that would have made more sense.
Jaheim got more.
Definitely wouldn't have watched that.
Jaheim definitely wouldn't have watched that.
Nah. I'll watch this one just because I like Music Soul Child.
Right.
I like Anthony Hamilton, but he just don't got enough music.
Yo, he got 3
He don't
songs.
got enough music.
And
I remember all his music. That cracked him.
And then what are you gonna do when music pulls out the hustle?
The what?
Walk off the stage.
Period.
Walk off the stage.
His
hustle.
You don't remember when Music Soul Child had his alter ego, the hustle?
Oh, the
Music Soul Child. I don't remember when he had
the hustle. Yeah. I mean, but he can just play his first album and beat Anthony Hamilton.
Yeah, easily.
Just don't take your glasses off, because that Biggie eye, you don't believe in that these days. Because when he did that in that video, I was like, damn, nigga, like you went too far when he pulled it off in the water. Like now you can't have a slow eye in slow motion. That's really bad. Like things have changed. He's pulling up, and I was like, oh my god, it's really moving in slow motion. Like that's crazy. So,
but I think for both of them though, you're gonna have to be it's gonna have to be like true fans to actually get into this, because even with music, I don't even know enough of his catalog to be like he's gonna have to dig deep. You know what I mean?
I guess that the begs to ask the true question is: was this the best matchup they could find for Valentine's Day for verses?
Aren't they on tour together or something?
Tired.
I think they on tour together. That's probably why it was so easy to put them together.
Yo,
what?
This nigga gonna have that fucking Jeezy song. Yo, I'm telling you, yo, that song with Jeezy and Boosie is probably one of Anthony Hamlin's 20 best songs. Like, I don't care what.
Yo, one of my favorite Anthony Hamilton songs is the joint with Nas. The World is an Addiction. That's my shit, yo.
Yo, you know what, Bob? I'm gonna agree with you now. You always pulling a Nas card, Eddie. You always gotta throw Nas in the mix. I think you're really a fan. It's all right though.
He never did a song with Jay-Z because I'm just.
It's all right. It's all right. We good.
Christ.
We got you.
I can't like a song. I'm automatically a Nas fan because I am a Nas fan. He's just not my favorite rapper.
Yeah,
I am a Nas fan. Like Nas is top 3 to me. He is. I'm not gonna front, but I mean, hey man, you know what? Why do I even fool with y'all, yo?
I don't know.
Let me call LeBron up, cuz LeBron told me don't do this. LeBron said, yo, you gotta shed. LeBron told me you gotta shed that extra weight and just come with the big dogs. That's
it ain't our fault, Rock Nation.
And I told him, nah, these niggas is cool as shit. Like these is my guys. I grew up with them. Nah, bro. You gotta shed that weight. You know what I mean? And just move forward because they hold you back. You can't reach your full potential. All right, I'm done.
And what documentary was you watching when he said that? Make sure I check that out.
Nah, real shit. I'm talking shit, man. I I fool with y'all, man. I ain't on that type of time, yo.
We know our feelings ain't hurt. We good.
I feel like sometimes PJ don't want me here though, because we share the same name, so he wants to be like, yo, because I'm the real PJ. First of all, shut up, Steve. Shut up, Steve. I don't need you, Steve.
It's not the same.
Shut up, yo.
I'm just
like I grew up. My family called me PJ all my life. I hear PJ, I go, huh? Because that's my name. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where it came from, how I got it, whatever. It just so happens that I met another nigga named PJ from the suburbs. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
But will you agree that it doesn't make sense that your name is PJ?
It makes sense because from the aspect of
based on your name.
Yo, come on, fam. Like your dad is my homie, but his nickname.
My dad gonna come in here and shoot somebody. Y'all keep talking.
his nickname starts with a P. You're his oldest son, so they called you P Junior. Like that makes
nickname
no fucking sense.
It makes total sense. It doesn't matter.
You're a nickname.
It's a name, bro. It's a nickname, right? That you answer to. Like they named you this. Your mom gives you this nickname, and all your life you answer to that nickname outside of your government. And then you have a son.
That's like us calling
him that Junior.
Nobody.
That's like us calling Steve's son Soch Jr.
Exactly.
I don't see a problem with that.
No, they don't even call him Steve Jr. And he got my goddamn face.
Yo,
but here's the thing: you are an actual junior. It's just your name don't start with P.
So Eddie, can we call your son DJ or Durag Jr.?
Durag Jr.
Can we start calling him
DJ?
What up, DJ? You gonna look at me like I'm stupid?
Yo, for the record, I just want everybody. I don't like these guys, yo. I don't even know why I'm here. Why am I here, yo? Like, what is my purpose right now? You know,
he said, "Call your son Durag Jr."
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. And nobody ever called Wes Steve Jr. ever, and that motherfucker.
That's
that
your
shit.
circle.
Like,
my circle of people called Steve Jr. So that's what it was. So you back. You go anybody in my family and say, "Who is PJ or where's PJ?" Who are they going to point at? anybody in the family.
They're biased.
You know what I'm saying? Extended
They don't know
family.
no better.
Who is PJ? Me. I don't know no fucking Pierre Jr. I don't know that guy.
Listen,
that's why he
here's the
got
thing.
his name up there as the real PJ, because he has to let it be known. I
Here's the
know
thing.
PJ.
Here's the thing.
I'm not fake. My name.
You sound upset, man.
Nah, you know I'm 100% with you because
I was upset
not
for
too
a
many
second,
people
but
can
I'm
say
over it.
they got threatened to get shot for cutting a Queen of Hearts with a fucking 8 of Spades. Like, not too many people can say that. So I'm with you on that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, your
Wait,
name
you got
being
threatened?
PJ.
You got threatened for a legit cut?
Yes, a legit cut. Mr. Petey told me he's gonna shoot me. Cut me again, I'm gonna
He
shoot
wants
you.
to shoot everybody, cuz. He wants to shoot everybody.
yeah. I'm like, yo, I mean, I'm gonna cut you again if I can, and I hope you didn't mean that. But like at the same time,
I hope you don't get pistol out at this card game.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like what you supposed to say?
Yo.
Your friend's dad says he's gonna shoot
listen.
you if you cut his
whatever.
cut his hand.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna stand clear. I'm gonna try to not be around that nigga.
Yeah, but I mean, like we did we get a Boston that game? Like I don't know. All I know is, man, we used to fuck them up, and it used to not be fair.
Yeah. Yo, for the record, Steve was my fucking guy on them fucking spades, man. Like we used to bust ass. We used to bust ass, man.
Yeah.
And even sometimes I underbid it my from time to time because I overthink shit, but we still used to bust ass.
I can see that.
I'll give you credit. You definitely picked up my slack a lot of times when I underbid it or something stupid. But don't get it twisted. I know what I'm doing on that table. Don't get it twisted. don't get that shit twisted. I'll put me and Steve, my money, me and Steve against anybody out there listening. Got it. We're gonna bust your ass.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You just said you underbid, and then you got to pick up your slack. So
First of all,
tread lightly.
I said
Tread
sometimes.
lightly.
Second of all,
right. So what we got next? Because this will turn to a whole juke joint kind of episode where people just talk about the blackest thing that we could possibly.
Obviously, you can tell somebody here don't know how to play spades.
Yes.
At all.
That's all.
At all.
He's like, oh man, they talking about some shit that I had no idea.
Well,
PJ, do you know how to play spades?
salad.
Yeah, I hate spades.
See,
but you know how to play.
He said,
right?
"Yeah." He said, "Yeah." I hate spades.
Exactly,
But what did he say the whole time when y'all talking? He was like that.
This is way off topic.
See,
is it? You're the one who started talking about Pumpernickel Jr.
Nah, we way off topic.
You did. You went there. This is your fault, PJ.
No, it's not. I didn't
fuck you,
so where we at now?
Wow.
But for the record, I don't know how to play spades, and my dad said he'd go disown me, but I blamed him anyway, so it don't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't show me, so how's it my fault? So we good.
All right, so let's let me see. Do we got anything else that can be light? We don't. All right, so let's go to Whoopi since she got suspended and dig into that.
Let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race. No, it's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's about
but
going
it's
after
not. It's
Jews
not about
ideal race.
But these are two white groups of people.
Well, that was after black people
see them as white people.
But you're missing the point. You're missing the point. The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. It's a problem. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, because black, white, Jews, everybody eats each other. So if you're uncomfortable, if you hear about mouse, should you be worried? Should your child say, oh my God, I wonder if that's me? No, that's not what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, I don't wanna be like that.
Hold on, before y'all respond, let's do this.
Wrote your Harvard College entrance essay about the impact mouse had on you.
yeah, I wrote my essay not only about the impact Mouse had on me, but on the impact that it had on culture and our cultural understanding of representation of the Holocaust, especially for young people. The notion that naked mice, which is, essentially some of the images we're talking about, the issue that upsetting people or being disturbing or being afraid that it will be disturbing to young people, it should be disturbing to young people. The genocide of 6 million Jews and of 11 million people of all races, creeds, colors, sexual orientations is incredibly significant. And in an age-appropriate way, we should be educating all of our children. And as Whoopi said, it's not just about Jews and it's not about race. It is about the things that humans do to each other. And we continue to do those things to each other. These things are going on still all over the world. Genocide still exists. And that, to me, is even more reason why we should encourage an age-appropriate reading of things like Mouse.
All right. So, what's that? Is that me?
Who's what you?
I don't know. I hear it too, like some background TV or something.
Yeah, that's
All
my
right.
kids.
So before, so Stream was making noise.
Yeah, exactly.
So the topic is challenging because you got to be careful what you say, ironically and unfortunately, because every time that you tread that line, there's repercussions. So I think that them suspending Whoopi is ridiculous. I think that you had a Jewish woman come on who was a survivor of a family that came from the Holocaust who agreed with Whoopi, and they ain't say nothing to her. But because this black chick said something, it's an issue. So anytime anyone speaks out on anything that they feel like they don't like, you're basically canceled because that's the industry. So I don't know who wants to tread on this or not, but go for it.
Because, listen, she got suspended because what she was saying made somebody else uncomfortable in this bullshit. And that's the thing that we deal with, even with this racist shit. Like, white folks hate when you say certain things as a black person because it makes them uncomfortable. But that's the only that change is going to happen, right? Like, we all know that. Like, it's bullshit. I agree. Like, I don't think she did anything wrong. She was the scapegoat. She was the scapegoat in that situation. Like, just the female that came on that had her back. That's dope because, like, yeah, she's not saying this, but basically she's indirectly saying y'all suspended her for no reason. Like, she's like, what did you suspend her for? You know?
Nah, it was the same show.
He had to fucking say. No, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought it was two different shows. I didn't see it.
Nah,
but regardless of what
that was
the same show or different show.
Episode.
Well, regardless, I agree with her, yo. Like, we didn't say nothing wrong. It is a humanity thing. Like, people treat people like shit. No matter what your race is, people do treat people like shit. It just so happens that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, it's all
I'm gonna pass it off. And y'all can come back to me. Go ahead, man.
It's all because long ago, people from the country of white sailed over here. You know what I mean? And they was the only white people until, they allowed other people to say they was white too. Like, after they became cops, it was like, oh yeah, I hate niggas and I hate whoever else I need to hate at the time. Then they became white as well.
What's the name of the country again, though?
White. It was white. You know what I mean? Like, Christopher Columbus, he got a boat from the country of white and he sailed over here. And they was like, oh, it's Indians. Well, we're white. And you know what I mean? And then, like, later, the Pilgrims also came from the country of white. And you know what I mean? Oh, and they came over here. And like, that's how white people got here, because they all came from the country of white. You know what I mean? So,
I love this guy.
And then Irish people came over and they was like, fuck y'all Irish. And they was like, hold up, no, don't fuck us. We'll be cops. Like, we don't like them niggas either. And they was like, oh, okay, y'all allowed to be white. You know what I mean? So, like, that's how it happened. You know what I mean?
think we're
So is it true that they treated the
Hold
Ivy
up.
folks like
Hold up.
like the white
So,
niggas?
Before we get too
to the
late,
podcast world, it was great. We appreciated having this GQ podcast for as long as we had it.
If you look on the fucking map, it's a country. It's clear as hell. It says white, like it's right there in Europe. It says white.
This was nice.
That's where white people originated, in the country of white.
Like, let me just jump in here real quick and say, I think it's not even like, it doesn't even surprise me or faze me any of it. We've already seen that, like, we had an outcry, like when Carmelo Anthony said the dude called him boy. We know that there's certain things that people can speak of within the race, and there's certain people that can't speak about certain things outside the race. We've also seen that when people say things in regards to the Holocaust, things happen and there's repercussions, no matter what and what type of favor you're in. So none of this surprises me, and it's nothing that we haven't already seen before. I think it's just the latest, story of this same type of thing. We've seen Nick Cannon, we've seen multiple others say these same types of things in the proper dynamic, and it still gets them, banned or kicked off for whatever reason. So it shouldn't be surprising to anyone at this point.
It's not surprising. I think the one thing, like, I understand where she was trying to go with it, right? I think the one thing that she got wrong was she's saying that it wasn't about race, but the whole thing is that they thought they were the superior race to the Jews. So it is about race. You know what I mean? It was about race. Of course they were being inhumane, but they thought they were the superior race. They were supreme beings to you know what I mean? So
but PJ, aren't they technically the same race though? And then like they just wanted but it was a specific
that's not,
look they was going for, right?
Well, race is
right,
made up.
but that's not the point though. It's not the point of what they
But technically they're the same race.
What they were saying was you're a different race than I am. That's what they were judging. That's what they were basing it on.
So here was my question when I watched the interview. Have you ever seen Jewish under race on an application?
No, I never looked at. I don't know.
I don't know because I'm always at the top, so I check
Yeah,
my black.
exactly.
Keep going. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I have no clue.
my black is on top all the time.
That's.
But at the same
I'm not
time,
talking
It's
about
a religion.
I'm not talking about what you're classifying it as now. I'm talking about what they were saying then. They were saying they are the superior race. And I'm not talking about what they're
But
classifying
how she explained it is if white people walking down the street with Jewish people, you can't just pinpoint out who's Jewish and who's white. So that was like her point in that. It's like you couldn't just look and say, "Oh, I hate that group over there," because I can tell that they're Jewish. Whereas with other races, you can look at someone and say, "Oh, you're Asian. Oh, you're black. Oh, you're whatever." Like you can see the race in other people. So she's saying it was just inhumanity. And to like go into Hitler and World War II period, there's a much deeper epithet than just, "Oh, I don't like them," or I think I'm superior than them. It was a lot deeper than that. And it goes into the whole banking system of Germany. So it wasn't about race. It was about him taking back Germany from somebody he felt that occupied them and took their wealth.
Right, but
now we can get kicked off air.
But even still, he was saying that they were inferior.
He said everybody was inferior.
Right, but what I'm saying is, particularly the Jews, he was saying they were inferior. They were the inferior race to them. So either way, I'm not saying she was totally wrong, but there are parts of it where you can look at it as a race thing as well.
But here's the thing. But what it shows you though is that who controls what. Because like you said, you can't say that and just stay on TV. You know what I mean? And like she's getting suspended like 2 weeks, like not even like days. Like we get coaches that babble and say racist things and they're coaching on the sidelines the next week because they issued an apology. Whereas she said something on a talk show where people expressed their opinions and their thoughts and she was removed. And she's not even just a regular host. She's like a Hollywood A-list actress who's been around for years and just expressed one
gobbled plenty of Jews.
I wanted to say that too, and
it took on a Jewish name to put under her because Karen Johnson is Whoopi Goldberg, but she wanted to be Goldberg to adapt.
So,
but
with all that,
you can play as long as you want. But
because I told y'all with Colin Powell, you could tap dance all you want to, but it don't matter because
when they ready, they ready.
You still black.
Ain't that what the genius Kanye said, PJ? You still a nigga. You still a nigga in a coupe. It don't matter what you do. I just want to give you that credit. You know what I mean, PJ?
Oh, Kanye West, that guy.
You know him. You know.
I know you
mean?
said the genius Kanye, and that just threw me off.
But you knew what song I was talking about.
Good, my fault.
No, you good.
I was going to say something about PJ's little salute.
What?
Yo,
yeah, it wasn't important. Let's move on.
What we got next?
So now we're just gonna go into this the heavy lifting for the day, which is going to be some more black stuff, talking about things that are irritating in life. So let's go with voting rights. That's irritating.
In 39 states, for instance, you've seen legislation proposed that would expand voter ID requirements. In 9, you've seen legislation proposed that would allow state legislatures to invalidate or change the electoral counts. The way that they reduced some of the wait times, for instance, that you're allowed to stand in line, or banning the passing out of snacks and water in line, those were particularly egregious policies that people had a strong reaction to. This has all been in reaction to a strong sentiment throughout the country, especially among the conservative base, that the election of 2020 was somehow illegitimate. So the proponents of these laws, who they call them election security laws, they are arguing that to preserve democratic legitimacy, we need to enact these laws to protect the sanctity of the ballot. Voting rights advocates are saying that that has it entirely backwards. And they're saying that these laws are going to restrict and are specifically targeted at ensuring that the result of the election goes the way that one party wants to in the future. But until we actually see how an election plays out with some of these laws in place, we're not going to know necessarily what the effects are going to be. What we've seen with these laws isn't necessarily that they are saying, no, we don't want minority communities to vote, or no, we don't want urbanites to vote. But the practical result of a situation where you say every county is only allowed to have a certain number of ballot drop boxes. For instance, I'm thinking right now of Maricopa County in Arizona or Fulton County in Georgia. If you reduce that number, you are effectively making it harder for urban Americans to vote. You've seen, for instance, cases where you're still allowed to register with a gun license, but you're not allowed to register with a student license.
All right. So overall, it's a lot of stuff happening politically that is reverting back to Jim Crow era type laws. Voting rights, I know here, and I think they're starting to try to do some stuff up in Pennsylvania as well, is one of like the main ways they're approaching it. So knowing this, how do y'all feel about even during elections or voting at this point and anything revolved around it?
If I think the whole point of all of this stuff is going to end up being everybody's going to be too frustrated to want to even do it. You know what I mean? If it takes too long for you the line is too long, or you got to drive too far, it's going to discourage everybody from doing it, and that's what they want. You know what I mean? And they're going to win that way without actually taking your rights away from you. They're just making it a bigger inconvenience. And with you already feeling like, I think a lot of people already feel like their vote doesn't count anyway. So why am I going to stand in line for 5 hours, or why am I going to drive way over here to vote if I don't feel like my vote counts anyway? You know what I mean? So but like you said, we're not going to know how this actually plays out until there is an actual election. But I can see a lot of people being discouraged from even doing it, even more so.
I mean, that's always the goal. Like, the one thing about, like, I mean, like, I'll never be one of those people who be like, voting alone is the answer, but you can always see the money invested and the effort invested in getting a certain segment of the population to not vote. So, you know what I mean? So when it's niggas who be like, yo, y'all voted, y'all clowns for voting and everything in this nature, like I understand fully why they say that. And sometimes I even agree with part of the reasons of why they say that. But at the same time, like everything about it is follow the money. And the money is invested in promoting that line of thought. Like they're not gonna the money isn't out there saying tell niggas who vote that they clowns, but the money is out there like, yo, get niggas not to vote. Like so, and you gotta follow the money. So you know what I mean. It's instantly. I mean, it's easy to tell who they don't want to vote, and now, but at the same time, every time I vote and nothing that I actually fucking wanted to happen actually happens, I'm like, yo, why am I wasting my time? Like I swear, this last election, motherfuckers is celebrating because it's like Trump didn't win twice, but ain't shit positive happening from that old motherfucking stuttering ass nigga in the fucking White House right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like that he ain't doing shit for nobody. So it's like, yay, Trump didn't win, but did we win? Like, we ain't win. We just.
I mean, I think with that, like, to your point on that part about it, like, we got to vote with a purpose. Like you said, like, we still got oak dope by our own party in that sense. Like, yeah, Trump didn't win, but like you said, all he did was like, saw parade Kamala and just have her say that she's a, sorority type thing, and like you haven't seen anything of it. And I think that like we get so discouraged because our only idea of whatever we believe our vote is aimed towards, if it's not immediately like something that impacts us, then we're like, oh man, we don't want to be bothered no more. So like the next election, like you said, like prior to it was like, oh, we don't want to vote. Because remember when Hillary was voting, it was like she ain't gonna win. Like, I mean, Trump ain't gonna win X, Y, Z, and all Trump supporters went on record numbers. Then after we got dealing with the whole Trump scenario, we were like, oh, okay, we're coming out in record numbers, and we made sure of it. So then now they see flat out, oh man, if these people focus, they can do this, which we always been though. We've always been progressive and always figured out the ways to maneuver around things that they put in front of us. We have to stay focused on making sure some of these things stay in place though. We can't just be so emotional because this is a long fight. We've been in it for a while. We're aware of it, but we just got here to this state. You know what I mean? So we can't allow them to just strip that out because civil rights was just removed. Like it's not that far removed in our a little bit before our lifetime. Like we're in our 40s. So you know what I mean? It was just happening right before that. So it's not too long in America's history where they had to fight for these rights to vote. Go ahead.
Y'all are in y'all 40s. I am 40.
Just 40.
Yeah.
If y'all believe that, then that's cool. But you know what I mean? But that's what 40-year-olds who want to still say 25 say.
Yeah, that 40-year-olds, like you said, 40-year-olds. You're in your 40s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're 40 plus.
I'm 40 plus.
I'm still 40.
But it's definitely something that voting, I think, is still key. Like, and I'm with Steve. Like, I always see when people say why they think it's a waste, and I see why people say it's something valuable. But we definitely need to have the right, so you can just not. If you don't choose, I can't push you to vote. But you still want to have the right. You know what I mean? Because the circumstances will always dictate something different, and you don't want to not have it at all. Like, not be able to do it at all. That's all I see.
I think that the generations from the 70s and 80s has literally fucked us when it comes to politics. Because
from the 80s?
I'm saying our generation as well. It's like it's you have, because you get that mindset that I'm just not going to because it doesn't matter. And a lot of people in the 70s got that because of all the repercussions of the 60s. So it's like you see nothing's changing, so we just going to stop. And that long-term progression of stopping is how shit is where it's at now. So now you got people in these offices that have been there for 30, 40 years who they don't have to run a campaign. They just basically went off of their names. and they can do whatever the fuck they want to. And if they decide they're not going to listen to you, they don't have to. And then as a black community, we don't force anybody to listen to what we're telling them to do or for what we want, because there's no drawback. Like, what are you going to do if I don't? So you got in the street, you got pissed off with George Floyd, got a trial, everybody went back home, went shopping, chilling out, back on Instagram. Like, we don't have that same stance where the Jewish community can kick you off air for pissing someone off. Like, we don't have that because we don't stand up to nothing like that. So it's like, I think Joe's doing a good job with what he can do, but there's a lot of shit that he can't do because you can't even get it into a Senate to get on the vote.
Can I just say one thing real quick though?
His office,
real quick, shot. You can't compare the financial wealth and backing that the Jewish community has to where we're at with some of our struggle.
Oh, the fuck you can't. Our buying power is high as shit.
Right, but they're already
our buying
in place.
power is there.
But it's intertwined a lot more.
Nah. But that's our fault, because that's our fault though. Because when segregation was there, black people were thriving, and black businesses were thriving, black wealth was thriving. The moment we can go into white establishments and spend our money, that's where we went, just to tell you that we can do it. And since then, they were like, oh, how many billions? Come on, we good. Y'all can spend your money in Macy's. And they cool with it. They'll put your picture on the wall. They'll put a little bit of your clothes in the corner. And you think that like you're included now. But you're not included in the situation when shit goes down. They're going to go back to their corner and send you wherever your corner's at. So it's not that we don't have the wealth to do it. We just don't collaborate that wealth into doing anything.
No, but you're forgetting also in history, like you said, like Tulsa, in different times where we've had these thriving businesses, they've also come and burnt it down. So we had to direct our money towards their money. You know what I mean? You can't omit that part too, because like, you know what I mean? So we have had we have tried, like you said, but they do things intentional. And like you said, in the Jewish community, and I'm not saying that, like, I agree that we do have buying power, but when the Jewish powers that be have a lot of things right now where they can just, like you said, cancel a star for 2 weeks, a lot of stars, because they're all in that same network and they're in bed with the same people right now. Where we're trying.
But I think that's the thing. If you can say we're going to cancel Whoopi Goldberg, and then everybody that has kind of investment as a black head of anything inside of that network says, I'm not coming back to work until y'all put her back in her job. They will put her back in her job. We just don't stand up like that. So we don't say, all right, Black Lives Matter, you take a knee on the field. What happens if the entire black population in the NFL didn't play on a Sunday? What happened if the NBA players didn't play? What happened if everybody that owned black businesses didn't go to work on Juneteenth? Like, you can make somebody feel your buying power. You can make them feel like your presence, but we don't stand up like that. It's like, I'm not fucking with my money, so we good. Y'all can take a knee. I'll go drink my Gatorade. We don't got it.
Why though?
Because we like the money. I think it boils down to liking the money.
We need the money because our circumstances and a lot of our families,
but you have it.
Aren't the same.
You have it.
No, like we discussed before.
But that's
like
the thing. All right, so the circumstances. All right, so say the Birmingham bus boycott. Everybody, they risk their money. Like, we're just not gonna get on this bus. If that means I gotta walk 6 miles to get to work, cool. If that means that I'm not gonna do whatever, carpool, whatever. You can do it if you're willing to be uncomfortable. We're not willing to be uncomfortable.
And that's not what somebody sitting with $200 million in their pocket and taking care of 3 fucking relatives or 5. The money. I think the key thing that you said, that like what Steve was saying, the money is the key, because even with most of them, like even the white athletes, were on going back to work in off seasons. Now the money's so astronomical. If you tell this man to sit out and not make a paycheck, but he has to take care of his mom, his 3 kids, and whatever else he has going on, it's different. And you got to be mindful of that. Whereas it's not necessarily, it's comfort, but it's also part of you being able to finally get some responsibility and take care of things. And you're not something you worked hard for, and you're not going to sacrifice your work for something at the moment, because you also have your own personal gain and benefit at times too that you got to be mindful of. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, you got to be mindful of that when you say, because you can't compare some of our struggle to their struggle. Because like I said, they still, a lot of them, and I don't want to say, because I don't want us to get canceled, but you know, when you talk about the Holocaust and the Jews, a lot of them still were able to get their finances situated. Whereas, you know, with all these situations we talk about with us, and we, like you said, everything, we lose it. And then we have to build it back up. And it takes a lot of time for even a few of us to get through the cracks. You know what I mean? So can't.
The thing, anything that has black in front of it was made out of necessity. If it's called black something, we made that out of necessity because we weren't included in whatever else was going on. But if we are being included, we don't see the need to make something new.
Right.
I mean, so
right.
So if we know that the NFL is giving us contracts worth however many millions of dollars, we're not going to make our own league. We're going to put up with a lot of the BS that they have going on. They're going to give us a little bit. They're going to put Jay-Z in power to do a little bit of something, and then we feel like we got, we took a couple steps forward. But until we get to a point to where we're saying, oh, they're not allowing us to do anything, then that's when we take our money elsewhere. That's why we have our BETs or anything that's black in front of it, black colleges and all those things. But as long as they give us a little bit, it's enough. And I don't think it's hard to get people out of that mindset, especially if you're getting paid for it.
And that's the thing. Like, even when you say like BET, you'll get somebody that has a show, let's say a Ava DuVernay, and if TBS is giving her more money than BET is, she's gonna go to TBS. And TBS can treat her like shit. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So if they treat her like shit, say, okay, but this contract is on point, but I could have taken less money and just went to BET, or I could have taken less money and went to Aspire. I could have taken less money and went to a different network, and then grow a black whatever it is into something that's bigger than a TBS. Then you have something. You have that power. But we're not willing to sacrifice the amount of money we can make to build something else when we can just get it from here and it's already established. So it's like, I can make 10 million there, or I can make 3 million here. You
right,
go
but
then,
but also what about what your are these stations able to reach the same demographic that these bigger stations are able to reach? You know what I mean? Are you going to have the same amount of people watching BET as you would watching TBS?
if you move it, if you take something, Tyler Perry, for instance, example, he took his shit from TBS and put it on BET Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And the subscription numbers for BET Plus skyrocketed because his stuff went over there. Oprah left that networks that she was on, started her own joint. Her audience skyrockets. So you can do it. You can get the audience to move from there to where you're at if you want to. But it's the wanting to. Like, I always joke, you'll never see Denzel Washington in a Tyler Perry movie. Like, he's not going to do it. But it's, if he were to, that look like.
But does it become a thing of where you're now just making? Is he just making black content, or does he want his content to reach more than just a black demographic?
But here's the thing: like with Tyler Perry, like he had a relationship with Ted Turner. So that's why he did the TNT and TBS deal. He also had a relationship with Oprah. So that's why when he left the TBS, he went over to OWN. BET's owned by Viacom. So let's not forget that. Like, they're no longer Bob, you know what I mean, John? So a bigger white company that said, yo, I don't know. And I seen the interview, I forget which one it was, where they said, yo, how do you make your movies in 90 days and they turn out so good? He said, I don't see how y'all don't. So what did they do? Like they always do. They offered him money that he couldn't refuse, in a sense. So that's why you start seeing him in Paramount movies now. You see him all over the place, and he still has his stuff. But yeah, they're going to offer you money that you can't refuse. And you can still do what you do, but we're going to have some parts and some say in some of these things that you also do. because I'm going to give you money that you can't refuse. And it's always like to Steve's point, like it always boils down to the money, and it comes back.
It goes back to what I said.
Like
we're not willing to take a stance because we're comfortable with the finances that we have. So as long as we're making the money, you're not worried about that. Like we can just work on finding a way to make it better. You're not going to stand up and be like, I'm not giving you anything else until you fix it. Because if all black people pulled their money out and pooled it somewhere else, shit would change. If black people decided we're not voting for another Democrat, they would never win another election.
It's hard to say.
Like you're voting.
Nah,
it's hard to say. It's not hard to say.
Got the majority white vote in like fucking our lifetime. So yeah.
We'll lose without the black vote. Like they know it, which is why they always right before elections they find themselves in the Baptist church. Like you know where your vote's going to come from. You know what I mean? So like Hillary Clinton putting hot sauce in her pocketbook going to church. Come on, cuz that's not what you do on a regular basis. You did that shit because it was in the Beyonce song because you thought that was going to help you.
Here's the thing. Hillary Clinton lying about it is one thing. Fucking Kamala lying about being in college listening to Tupac is worse than that. Like, yo, come on, fuck on, yo. Like, it's like me. I was like, yeah, I was in college, motherfucking listening to Lil Baby and shit. Like that shit just like why? Why make that shit up, yo?
Right.
Like,
come the fuck on, yo. That shit made me so angry, yo.
You know what I'm saying? It's just it's nonsense at a point. But again, we don't stand up anything long enough to fix it. But that's that. Let's jump into this is gonna get nasty. All right, affirmative action.
The court agreed today to hear a challenge to affirmative action. It's consolidating two cases. They've both been filed by a group called Students for Fair Admissions. One accuses Harvard of discriminating against Asian American students. The other accuses the University of North Carolina of discriminating against both Asian Americans and white applicants. Lower courts have ruled Harvard and UNC were making legitimate efforts to diversify their student body by considering race in admissions. NBC's justice correspondent Pete Williams. Now, Pete, the court has changed considerably since the last time we heard a similar case on affirmative action.
Yes, and I think that may make all the difference because this is going to be the most serious threat in decades to the practice of considering a student's race in admissions, and it could result in a decision that either bans it completely or vastly scales it back. The Supreme Court has repeatedly ruled, most recently just 6 years ago, that schools can't use quotas to meet racial admissions goals, but they can consider a student's race as a plus factor, looking at it among other qualities in helping schools achieve the educational benefits of a more diverse student body. The challengers, though, say that is a vague concept and that if the schools want diversity, then they should consider a student's background and experiences directly without using race as a proxy. But the change you're talking about is the fact that two justices who ruled in favor of affirmative action in the past, Anthony Kennedy and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, are gone, succeeded by Trump appointees Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett. They haven't written much about affirmative action as lower court judges, so we don't know much about their views on this, but I think it's fair to say they'll be more skeptical than Kennedy and Ginsburg.
So, do we need affirmative action?
Go?
So here's the thing. I don't know if we need it. I know that the fucking people behind that case ain't really the Asian students that are involved. It's a bunch of white cats. Like that's the thing. Like if it was a bunch of Asian cats, like, yo, why don't affirmative action work for us as well? That's one thing. But there's a bunch of white cats who's like, yo, see, y'all don't need to do this shit because, and then instead of pulling some white kids who didn't get approved, they found some Asian kids. The one fucking Asian kid, and I think in the Harvard case, was like, yo, I don't even want to be involved in this shit. Like, I don't even want a fucking case in the Supreme Court because he knows he's good, or she, regardless of what it is good regardless. It's a fucking white activist bull who challenged.
Hold on.
But say what? You
Here,
said, hold on.
it's this dude. Yeah, it's this dude.
Leading the charge in these cases, Ed Blum. Let me tell you about this guy. In 2013, he was behind the Supreme Court case that gutted provisions of the Voting Rights Act, and now he's using Asian Americans in a thinly veiled attempt to tamp down even more access for people of color. Joining me now, Dr. Ivory Tolson. He's a professor of counseling psychology at Howard University, and John Sing Yang, president and executive director for Advancing Justice, AAJC. So happy to have you both here. And John, I want to start off with you because this guy, Ed Blum, he is heading the Students for Fair Admissions, this group suing over the affirmative action case, but he's really just positioning Asian American people against other people of color. He's got an ugly history in this kind of right-wing extremism. How exactly is this guy in a position to represent AAPI interests?
You're absolutely right. He is using Asian Americans as a political wedge. Frankly, after the Fisher case in which he lost before the U.S. Supreme Court, one of the things that he started saying was going around saying, I need to find Asian plaintiffs. His modus operandi is not to serve the Asian American community, but to use us as this political wedge to try to divide us with the African American and Latino communities. As you showed in that initial graphic, Asian Americans actually support affirmative action. About 70% of our community support affirmative action. So this notion that somehow we are going to suffer, the Asian American community would be harmed by these race-conscious programs is just a fallacy. It's just a fiction.
Hey, exactly. But yeah.
Listen, so basically they're using.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, you're using the Asian kids to overturn affirmative action for everybody because ultimately you don't want these darkies in your school. And then once it's overturned in colleges, it's overturned in the workplace. It's just you overturn in the workplace, it overturns in housing. It has nothing to do with the Asian kids.
How would you feel if you apply to a job or you tried to get it admitted into a school and you got in or you got the job and then they told you you got the job because of affirmative action? How do you feel?
What's my base salary?
So now it's a money thing.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're putting me on the same level that you're putting whoever I'm working with, we have the same title.
Yeah.
And I'm making the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ultimately, it's not just affirmative action that's getting you in. You still have to have qualifications, but then that helps you at some point. So as long as I'm on equal ground, equal footing, I'm good. Because at any point, if you don't like me, you can fire me. Affirmative action or not, you can find you another nigga.
So basically, Shad, just like, hold on, in the last segment, we talked about everybody having a price. So you do have a price, just like Tyler Perry and whoever else. When you flash that money in front of them, things get different.
I said if you're putting me in with the same title, with the same amount of money, and you're not treating me differently, then I don't care. That doesn't bother me. Like if you bring me in and say, "Oh, affirmative action got you here," if I go, say I go to Johnson C. Smith, right? I get a degree in economics. The dude goes to Harvard. He gets a degree in economics. Our qualifications coming out of school are the same. If you're telling me you're going to give him the job because his is a Harvard degree and mine is a Smith degree, I'm not cool with that because it's basically saying like you think that because of the school he went to, he's better at what I do than I am. If I'm on equal grounds and you say we hired you because affirmative action was in place, cool. Am I making the same amount of money that the dude that applied from Harvard would have made? Am I given the same title that he would have been given? If you're giving me something lesser because of affirmative action, then no, that's not cool. If I'm getting in here because I have these qualifications and I can keep my job and maintain and show that I'm able to do that, then that's different.
Yeah, but the way it would work more so like if it was two candidates and let's say you both had the same background, this other candidate just had a little bit more experience. So on paper, they want this person, not you, but they have to fill that.
If I'm not qualified, I don't want it.
No, you're qualified.
No,
No, you're
if it-
qualified. You're qualified, but this person will be just a little bit better because of something else that they have, right? But they got to fill that quota. So they're like, all right, we're going to take Shy because, you know, that fills our quota. Are you happy with that? Are you fine with that?
Yo, I'm gonna take that. For me, I'm gonna take the shit because I don't think that half of them don't even want us in the job, even if we are overqualified or underqualified. So the fucking matter is like you go feel the way you go feel about me, regardless of affirmative action or not. Been in this situation, I don't really care. Like I'm just here to get mine, and I'm not here to be friends with you. I'm getting paid to even talk to you. So if you keep that mindset and understand I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability, you can say whatever you want. As long as you don't say it to my face and it's not something that's going to get you punched in the face. That's how I really feel. And that's how I carry myself because we have to carry ourselves like that. Because that's
So
how you really got to understand it.
So basically, Bub, you're taking the TBS money over the BET money.
What I'm taking is that if I apply for it and I get it, I'm not tripping about how whatever is going on in the background for whatever reason. If I got it and I'm going to get it, I'm going to make sure that when I'm doing what I'm doing, it's going to be to the best of my capability and knowledge. I'm not caring about who's trying to meet what quota or whatever they got to meet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's for me. And that's real shit. Like, because ultimately, most of the time, even if someone tells you like, oh, he's qualified, there's still somebody else that's associated with them or dealing with them who's not going to be in your corner.
But
So you can sit there and lie to yourself.
you don't think that makes you a token?
Yeah.
Bro.
Would you consider every person that was the first to do something a token? Because there were people that had to get put in place for these things that they had to get.
I think it depends on how they were placed there.
You know what I mean?
I think it depends on how they were placed there.
So, nah, I don't like. I won't because I don't view myself like that. I mean, you can understand that, and that might be even a small joke I might make amongst my friends when you look around and you see colleagues that's, oh, all right, and you know it, but you also know it, PJ. Like, you know what I mean? Like some things. They can act as if, oh no, that's not what it is. You were the qualified one, but we know that that's what it is. Here's our dark associate. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. We do know businesses. We do know businesses that carry that. Like they act like you're just so qualified, but we really know that somebody higher up was like, we need to pull in the black dollar, so we're gonna pull him in, and that way they can have somebody that they'll feel comfortable with their own and go that way. So though it's not called the affirmative action thing, and they won't say that to you, that's what it is. So it's what it is.
What is it? My great grandpa had to fucking run away from a plantation, so now I get a job over the fucking kid whose great grandpa owned him. Oh fucking well. Like I ain't even supposed to be here. So if it's a program that the fucking Supreme Court put in place that makes me get a job over that person who fucking is a descendant of somebody who actually came over here on their own volition, oh fucking well.
Right, because we usually a lot of these jobs too, usually somebody's friend's son is hired.
That was the next thing I was going to get at. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing where they try to make it seem as though this affirmative action thing is like so unique, but it's like, nah, it's not even just for, I mean, it's for us because of that type of shit, but it's also in the fact that like, if it's gonna be that way, you just go keep the wealth between you and like 2 or 3 of your fucking friends. You know what I mean? And do something foul as hell. So nah, I'm gonna sit there and just get some of that too, and set my family up in a better position and learn what the hell I'm supposed to do to make sure my family's up. So nah, I'm not gonna trip off of that at all. Like my pride and my ego is just as big as yours. You just don't know it because you want to look at my skin and think it's different. Well, fuck you, you know. So, and I don't got to speak to you. I get paid to talk to you, and then we got to always keep that mindset. Yeah. Like that's the mindset you got to really keep when you in there. Like we're not friends. We're business associates. Like we're getting paid to be around each other, and that's where we make mistakes too.
Wait, because is that damaging?
Is what damaging?
Is what damaging?
Is it damaging to walk into an establishment with that mindset?
I don't know. I'm
Like,
gonna put it to you like
could that be your holdback?
I know for a fact I work with a bunch of MAGA motherfuckers, yo. And them motherfuckers, like, as long as we ain't talking about that level of shit, like, I know there's a bunch of people I work with at my job now. But there's a bunch of people I worked with at every fucking job I ever had that I would never talk to if I wasn't getting paid to talk to them. And it's not just I wouldn't talk to them, they wouldn't talk to me. Like, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I don't feel like it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? We know how to keep it on a level of we talking about the shit that we do. The team we're a part of is what we talk about. We ain't gonna talk about that other shit because that other shit ain't affecting what we're doing here right now. And why let that affect it? You know what I mean? But it's plenty of motherfuckers that, especially at my job now, that I know for a fact wouldn't want to talk to my young black ass about no normal shit in real life. But like, because of what we do and the fact that we are, there's not too many people that can do the same exact shit that we do. We talk about that shit, the shit that we have in common, the shit that we do every day as the team that we're a part of. And ain't no reason to talk about that other shit because we already know where that will go. You know, ain't no need to do that.
I quit a job because my when I was in LA, the dude that was the hotel manager, like the general manager of the hotel, I walked in his office, he had Trump shit everywhere. And I was like, you believe like in this Trump thing? He was like, I think he's fucking amazing. I was like, because that's before policies. So you're going off of that just like off of campaign. So basically off of his campaigning, you think he's amazing. I'm good. We're good. I quit. And I walked out of his meeting and quit the job. So I don't know. I think affirmative action is necessary to a degree because at certain places there wouldn't be representation. There wouldn't be black people. And if certain places didn't have to have black people in it, you would never be there. Like, I think even like when you go federal government, like the 3-letter agencies, like if they could keep you out of there, you would have nothing to do with it, applied or not. And I think that that's dangerous.
What's dangerous is to act as if that, yeah, we do have a lot of allies. There are a lot of allies out there, but there's not enough to be able to decipher that, you can just walk in freely and have the same mindset as the people you're going to go against. So you have to keep that mindset wherever you're going when it comes to us. And that's the sad thing about it. Like, and that's what we're fighting for. And that's what losing that's what a lot of these laws being stripped away from us is to try to do. We got to stay firm. We got to stay focused. And that's the thing. Like, you can't get rid of the fight. Nah, you got to stand pat on a lot of shit. And you got to stay, and you got to be confident in your black. You got to stay confident in your blackness because though I've been in places, and it is going to intimidate people because they don't understand you, and they want to go off the stereotypes. But just as cocky as you want to be, like, I'm proud of myself too. And if that offends you, that's on you, and that's what it's gonna be. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I'll figure something else out because I'm a born survivor, and that's what it's gonna be. But I'm not doing that to make you feel any better. I'm just here to do what I'm supposed to do.
And I think that's ultimately the question. Like, at what point can black people not have to think in that way? Like, there has to be a point somewhere.
Not in our lifetime. You got to be honest with yourself. Our parents lived through civil rights. We're 40 years old and we're still talking about Whoopi Goldberg getting kicked off a show.
40 years old,
like
40 plus.
Right. But you know what I mean? So whatever y'all want to be, but we all friends, and collectively we're still at a point where a black woman can't express a thought and not have her job and be on the show the next day.
But she could if she decided that.
No, but she's not
going to stand for this.
We're not doing hypotheticals. But that's what I said. So that's why we can't.
But you said a black woman can't. She can. She's choosing not to, because she could be like, I resign. and walk away.
She can.
Because her co-host was already pissed off at that she even got suspended in the first place.
Right.
So if she said, I resign, I'm walking away, I'm going to BNC. Like, there's nothing they can do. So that's the part of taking your power back. But if you say, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I wasn't educated on this. Nothing that she said was wrong. And she meant it when she said it. But her apology is for the masses. So what happens when you stop apologizing for shit that you're not sorry about and take your power back?
Yo, if you like, there's too much that's going on right now to think that that's going to happen right now. Like I said, it'd be more likely in our kids' lifetime. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the civil rights movement was in the 60s, the 70s. You know what I mean? So, and I was born in 79. I know y'all 40s. You know what I mean? But like, and we're still having these same things. The racism pattern just hides itself different, and it's still the same type of thing. And they're already removing stuff that they had put in place through the civil rights movement. So our key thing too is to educate our kids to understand what they're dealing with. And I think that just because the money's there and all this superficial shit that's out there is something that's really going to be to them and beneficial to them. We have to really understand. You got to keep this mindset, because once you start lacking this line is when you get caught. You get caught slipping, and that's what happens to a lot of people.
So that goes back to voting.
All of it.
Because the shit can be reversed if, like, the more you pull this way down and they can start going an opposite way of, like, taking your shit away from you, ultimately you're losing because you feel like this will never happen anyway. So why participate? Just go to work, make your money, take care of your family.
Is it all just about voting, or do we even need to get even further down and have more representation in the people that are making the laws and
everything?
Like, you know what
I
mean?
That's the voting.
But how do those people get elected?
That's the voting.
No, I get that. No, I get that part. But I'm talking about we don't even are we teaching our younger generation or pushing them in the direction of being a part of these things? Go to school for political science and get into that field so that you can make a difference.
So we all went to the same school. Did you have a civics class?
No.
Yo, I did.
White
and
kids.
It started
White
like
kids
my
got a civic
freshman
class
year
in
was
ninth grade.
what, 95, 96? And we opened the book and it was like, imagine it's 1995. So, you know, fuck that school, yo. And
yeah, I mean, but that's where it starts, though. I mean, we got to start it from a younger generation.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is that we have to keep this mindset, because we're not like a lot of our schools aren't ahead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even the craziest thing is, like, the curriculums they're teaching them. Like, we came from a school where our textbooks were behind. Like, my cousin graduated in 1985, and I had her textbook when I came through in 1990, like 96, 97. You know what I mean? Which is beyond me. These kids have technology and they still aren't learning the things. So you have to keep that mentality, because you got to teach them beside that. And that's with kids in better schools. Imagine kids that don't even have the luxury of being able to be in a good school. Goes back to what we were saying with the black families and the PTSD. If you got to worry about every other thing, your fucking concern ain't school. You know what I mean? Like, if you got to worry about, just other things. And so for us, the mentality comes from some of the accountability. And like you said, us who do have it, to be able to reach out and help those who don't. But we have to keep the mentality alive, because it's not going to, if we don't, then we're going to be doomed. What is it? If you don't know your history, you're doomed to fail. Repeat it, whatever that is. So we have to keep that going, because we're not there yet. So it would be foolish for us to think that we're going to, let our hair down, let it go, allow this next generation, and they completely lose everything that the people before us fought for.
But that's what's happening, generation after generation. Because I think ultimately what's happening is the mindset is in comfort instead of changing. So instead of saying, I want this changed, this is what we're going to do, this is how we stay comfortable and live a lifestyle that makes us feel okay, to where you don't have to worry about these other things.
Money. It's always money. And
That's what I'm saying.
when Jim
So,
Brown and them did that Texas protest, they didn't make any money. So it was easy for all them on top of it. So then when they start giving money, like you said, when you start seeing these athletes making this ridiculous money, and then you can get endorsements on top of it, like for instance, real quick, and I know this is a little bit off base. The reason Kyrie could sit out because he was making money as $11 million. He made $11 million on the away games, but he still has a Nike endorsement deal. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, cool. I don't have to go to my regular job because it's one of my other side hustles that we always talk about. It's still paying me some money too. So I can kind of still eat off of part-time employment on top of that. Like, that's remarkable for him. But we got to get ourselves into this idea where we can even get to that. And like you said, it goes back to understanding our history with everything that took place. Like you said, the Black Wall Streets, the Tulsa, everything that took place beforehand, and not being so accepting of things sometimes and not willing to take that extra dollar. It's there, but you're not going. Go ahead.
Let me say, I think that there's a lot more political power in our community than what we recognize or get behind. Because you got people with like the mindsets. Like, while I don't, Umar Johnson, I don't agree with everything he says, but he's intelligent. Like, he knows the fuck he's talking about. I don't agree with everything Killer Mike says, but he knows what he's talking about. I don't agree with everything that Farrakhan says, but he knows what he's talking about. If you actually listen to these people and then start putting yourself behind some of the shit that they're saying, you can make a difference. But it's the fact that I'm not moving my money out of this Chase bank account to this black bank that you're talking about over here because I don't know if y'all money is safe. Like, we're bred to not even trust each other. So I'll let you keep my shit and put all the cocaine on the Chase boat and bring it to America, but I ain't gonna give it to the dudes over there.
I don't agree with everything I ever said in my entire life. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no one person I'm gonna agree with every single thing they ever said. Like,
absolutely.
So, but I
think what happens is once he says something.
Once he says something. No, I'm saying. I mean, the thing about the banking, like, I mean, I told y'all back when we talked about the community episode. Black capitalism ain't gonna save Black Americans. Like, capitalism is meant, somebody still has to be that bottom fucking tier. So Black banking is a tool of capitalism. So yes, if you're gonna try to succeed and excel in the capitalist aspect, then sure, go ahead, bank black. But that's it's still not going that's not going to save us. Like, you can get because again, to excel in the capitalist system, somebody still has to be getting exploited, which is why that whole, like, I mean, I understand why they say bank black, because then it's Black people who are more likely to invest in other Black people. But at the same time, playing the capitalist game, and I say this while wearing a dumbass $300 t-shirt, but playing the capitalist game isn't that, like, that's not going to save your Black ass. Like, that's, that it is what it is.
Yo, Shad, bring Eddie through. He's been trying to get back through, by the way.
Well, his dumbass should have never logged off. Yeah, I said it.
Yo, fuck you, cuz.
so after all this pro-Black talk, you just come right in and just throw the whole fuck, like, you know what I mean? But
nah, I'm saying, like, I had internet issues, man. Like,
Oh no, my
computer's
playing turned on.
Because he didn't use that Black internet company that don't fucking exist.
So I didn't support Black. So I couldn't stay on.
Here's the thing though. So you have people who made life insurance companies. There were Black banks. There were Black. You have your HBCUs, which are now being funded by the government as well, which they can control whatever they want to at this point. you have the ability to run your money through a black network, which is what the Jewish people does. They say their money changes hands inside the community. I think it's like 12 or 13 times before it leaves out. Ours is like one, if that. So it's like you have the ability to make people inside the community wealthy by making decisions on what you're going to do. But again, it's not to the level of comfort that we're cool with. It's not, I say this all the time, it's not a Gucci belt. So the Gucci belt is a status, but you could give that money to a black designer making the belt and be there. Like, dude, Virgil just passed away. He could have went to a black company and started something with his own shit, but it's like you went to Louis because that's where the money was.
He had his own company too.
Yeah, but that's, you can stay there. Went to theirs to have black people say, "I'm proud. I'm about to go buy a Louis whatever," because you're there.
Or,
I mean, it's a mindset.
But let me say this: with him, I think he might have did the same shit that Chadwick Boseman did because they both were fighting cancer undercover. So financially, if I'm going to make sure that my family's well off, and there's an opportunity for me to make sure that this big company is going to put some money in to make sure, and I don't tell nobody that I have this cancer diagnosis, and I can get money and put them in the best light, like you said, that be well off when I'm gone because I'm not going to be able to be here to produce for them. Are you going to do that?
I think that's too easy.
Is it?
It is. I think that's too easy because again, if Massa over here whooping me, and I decide, oh, this one here whips me 4 days a week, but that one over there only whips me 2 days a week, I'm gonna go to that one. You still have Massa's plantation. Whereas you can be like, I'm not going to either one of these. I'm gonna leave and go to this other one that has no Massa and it's land, and I can just do my own shit. So it's easy to say that you can just go for the money because that's what we're used to doing. If you want to make a decision that is uncomfortable, that could give you that betterment, you can do that as well. We're just not willing to be uncomfortable.
No, but in the case that you said of like Virgil, and like I said, I even think of Chadwick Boseman, to have a child and a wife that you care about, but you know that no matter what, you're seeking this treatment. And think about it, because they both, the reason I'm using both of them as an example is because they both, like when they both passed, it shocked everybody because they didn't even let anyone outside of their immediate circles know that they were suffering from this cancer. But what they did do is also set up finances so that their loved ones going forward will be well taken care of. You know what I mean? And in that scenario, there's always scenarios where there's going to be a gray area. And in that thing, and like I said, like having children, like I would die for my kids. So if I'm dying and I know I can put them well off, I'm going to make sure that they're well off. That's a different feeling right there. And that's, you know, and I get that what you're saying from that standpoint. But if I know there's a move that I can make that's going to have them well off financially, where they don't have to necessarily, because I'm not going to be there. And I'm not going to be able to physically get them. But if I can put them in a financial space where they can be able to do something different, it's different. I'm telling you, it's different.
But what if that well-off financial situation puts them back behind the 8 ball that you just pulled them out from them back up? So if I put you in front of the 8 ball, and then now because I'm looking at what I can do for you financially, I'm going to put you back behind the 8 ball. How does that benefit you?
Behind 8 balls, what?
I don't think that fits the definition. Like, I don't think you can say I'm putting you well off behind the 8 ball. Like, I think,
but you can be well off and get back behind the 8 ball
if you fuck up. But I'm doing my part to make sure that you're in front of the 8 ball, not behind it.
Hopefully.
No, I'm doing my part. This is what I'm doing here,
right?
To make sure that what I do,
but
when I leave, you're ahead of the 8 ball. If you get behind it after I'm gone, then that's what you did. But I'm doing what I can do right now while I'm here to make sure that you're ahead of it.
But that's the thing. We hope that whatever decisions that we make are going to be in the benefit of the next person.
I mean, you already know.
But you don't know.
So, like,
that's it. Period. Though, like our parents hope that the things they tell us we listen to the first time. Sometimes we're hard headed. So yeah, but I can only lead you to water. If you don't drink it, that's on you, and that's what you do. But I'm gonna put you better off than which I started off.
What if the fucking water has? What if the water has salmonella in it?
All right, let me say this. Let me say this. You got to have a kid to understand what it's like to leave a fucking kid, like, you know what I mean, to be well off. And I think he had wife and 2 kids. And then financially, if you can be somewhere you can take care of yourself, where you can actually have a job that's going to help. Like, it's cool to have my own little business. But if somebody will give me some fucking money, because we see people sell their shit all the time before they get well off. Fucking Bruce Springsteen just showed his fucking catalog for $500 million. You know what I mean? But he's getting ready to die, but he's going to be well off because he wants to go out the way he wants to go out. He go set out the people. Tina Turner, the same thing. Like, at some point, you're going to set people off. I mean, you want to be well off for the people you care about. And if it's to your best ability, yo, I'm going to provide this for you. So you can't say I didn't do anything for you. That's what it is. And that's sometimes the best case scenario.
That's like having, and you sell your farm to buy a condo because the condo's in a better area of the city. You have more ability to be involved, but you just lost your land to get a condo. So it might be a better financial situation for the family. But what if they decide to tear that condo down? Now you have nothing because the land that you had
Sometimes you take chances
because
financially.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. What if the chances that you take put you back behind the 8 ball?
Well, that's the chance that you got to live with that, right? You got to live with that.
Like,
because
back when we talked about the boy Schroeder, I said I can't never fault a motherfucker for betting on themselves.
No, you can't. But listen, and especially being black, we don't have a history of any of the, you know what I mean, the good finances and shit like that. So whenever we do come across anything that's going to give us like millions or anything of that nature. And of course, I'm speaking beyond like being, everyday working. I guess you could say an everyday working Joe or whatever. I don't know how you want to say it, but I'm going to make
everyday working Ed.
That's fine, but yeah, I'm gonna probably buy into things or take full advantage of certain situations just because, I don't want my kids to struggle. So yeah, whenever I'm going, you know what? Perfect example, right? I got my own little business, right? Like, it's not where I want it to be right now, but I know for a fact that it will be because Mature Ed says that, he has to leave something to his kids, right? Now, I'm not forcing my kids to have my business, right? But when I'm gone and I leave it to whoever I leave it to and whatever they choose to do with it, if it creates more finances or more money or whatever, generates like whatever it does, that's on them. At least I know for a fact that I'm leaving them something. And that's what I'm working towards, because me growing up, it was a bit of a struggle. My dad and my mom, they just did the typical 9-to-5 shit. They didn't leave me nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not faulting them for that, but they didn't leave me nothing. I didn't step out to, I got this and I could choose to take this money and go to college, or I can take this money and invest or whatever. No one did that for me, man. And I want to do that for my kids. Like, I feel like, personally, I'm gonna get personal with y'all, man. I feel like I already fucked up with one of my kids, right? I have a daughter in college, and I felt like if I would have made, because I was a young parent, if I would have made better decisions when I was younger, she wouldn't have to worry about the same student loans that I am still dealing with. You feel what I'm saying? Like, she shouldn't have to worry about that shit. I should have made better decisions and prepared her financially for that shit, so that when she's done and she gets her education, that's cool. Like, you don't have to worry about that at all. Learning experience, got older, had a few more kids, and now I'm trying to do it differently. Like I said, it's fucked up because she has to experience immature Ed. So she's going to deal with probably what immature Ed had to deal with coming out of college and paying back student loans and things like that. But at some point, man, you got to, like, my dream is to have generational wealth. Who doesn't dream that, right? Who doesn't want generations on to just be cool, So it's always a scramble with me. I'm always looking for how can I make this dollar? How can I make that dollar? Yeah, I got a nice pen. I mean, I make decent money. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel like it's not enough. I still feel like there's other things I can do. That's why I always tell my son, it's always good to have multiple money avenues, right? I'm a truck driver, right? I have my own business with that, right? But that's not all I want to do. I want to put my hands in this and put my hands in that because I want multiple money avenues so that we all could be straight. And when I am going, you know, hey, Dad, make sure we was cool. We got money now. Like, we got a couple ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way of thinking, right? I'm sorry, did I take this somewhere else?
No,
that's
no,
absolutely
you're
what I'm
good.
thinking.
No, you're great. You're great. You're great. But that's my thing, like, because for the Virgil situation, it's just that, man. Like, there's times where you're going to fucking, if somebody's going to offer you something, you know something's going down. Because, like, the thing that was so shocking about Chadwick Boseman is that he was completing movies. You know what I mean? And it was like, yo, and people was coming out after the fact, like, yo, I thought he was something, but he was setting up his wife. You know what I mean? To make sure that she was good because he was getting Disney money and different Netflix money. You know what I mean? So he was like all his money for himself with the treatment, but to make sure that she was off. So there's always a gray area with certain situations, but we do, as Black people, need to pay more attention to a lot of things. But the circumstances are so uneven for us that we don't get a lot of the times to be able to have these type of classes, these type of curriculums. And I guess we have to, and like us that are knowledgeable of these things, got to be able to reach back and also be patient and understand that some people's circumstances are like that and see what's going on to help get us as a people moving forward. That's the key thing, because
with Virgil's situation though, even though it could be that he was trying to set up his family, right? But I feel like you can look at it and compare it to the two segments that we just talked about. Number one, affirmative action, right? They're Louis Vuitton. They're like, yo, we need a Black person.
They're
Right?
not an American company.
It doesn't
They
matter.
still
I
need
mean,
a Black
I'm
person.
not saying, when I say affirmative, I know they're not actually following affirmative action, but I'm saying,
but you're saying like
a
how I
Black
said,
person,
but like I
having
was
a Black
saying,
person in play, you know, just
so then the other
just so
Black
we can-
faces that feel comfortable, and
Right, 'cause
then
he's the first.
but I bet you to what I said, he was like, cool, I'll take the job because fuck it, I'll make some hot shit, and I'm
Right,
cool with it, right?
And on top of that, though, it's similar to him saying, all right, I have Off-White, right? Off-White is his BET,
right?
But let me get some of this
No,
TBS money.
Pyrex Vision is his BET.
I don't even know that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was his shit,
right?
Before, because I think
Before
Off-White is owned by like the same people who own Louis or some shit like that.
Probably
like,
at this point, but originally it
Nah, Pyrex Vision was his streetwear shit.
Yeah,
his like I think Off-White, like his high fashion shit is owned by one of them fashion houses who just basically cut him a check.
Yeah.
But like his Pyrex Vision, he had these big ass t-shirts, like fucking tall tees with fucking like shit that they were selling shit to suburban kids from motherfuckers who was only in the trenches really knew what that shit even stood for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's the thing. Like, but at the same time, like I think he was really trying to be like, look, this is the game that we playing. I gotta make sure that my people is straight. So you know what I mean. But like, I can't say Off-White was his BET. It was Pyrex Vision was his BET.
Okay, that makes sense because Off-White is not cheap. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, I get that.
The
but
one thing
but
I do
either
wanna
way,
say-
taking that Louis job gave him that bigger exposure.
But you're gonna take the money to funnel your dream, right? And then when you get on, you can also buy your partner out and do other shit too, right?
I think Nike gave him the exposure that got him the Louis job. Like it was the Nike, the deal he did with Nike,
the Off-White collabs,
yeah, that's what actually because like you know what I mean. Only motherfuckers who was really really fucking Kanye fanboys knew who the fuck Virgil was. Like you know what I mean. Just Don and Don C. Like you had to be real deep into like following the Kanye shit to really recognize like why those dudes was famous. Otherwise, it just seemed like it was just some random shit. But like that Off-White shit, the Off-White Nike collabs is what set him up for good. And then Louis was like, "Oh shit, you did that with Nike? Here, well, do this for us, please." And he was like, "You goddamn right, I will, because I got these people I need to motherfucking set up and leave them straight."
Yo, I want to point out one thing real quick too. Just based off of, what I was talking about when I was giving my little story. One thing that I hate though about, and this is from my personal shit with my job. Like I hate that I have to, in order to complete the task of trying to make sure that the family's financially secure, I mean, everything's gonna be cool. I hate the time that I miss out on. Meaning, like, there's so many different situations that I wish I could be around for, but I can't. And it's my own fault because I chose the job that I chose. But even when, like I said, I tell my son, different money avenues is where it's at or whatever. Even when you're dealing with multiple situations, multiple businesses or whatever, it's so time consuming, man. You miss out on a lot when it comes to like raising your kids and shit like that. That's the downfall of that. And that's something that I don't want like my kids to have to go through. Like, I got to work 10, 12-hour days and not be around the family just so we can survive. That's another reason why I sacrifice my time with them or whatnot. Like, it's not like I'm a bad dad or I miss out. Like, I miss out on certain things, but I also make memories with them. I make it to things, sports events or whatever the situation may be. But I just don't want my kids to have to experience what everyone else from me beyond my dad or whoever else had to do just so that we can all be cool. Like, I just think that that's pretty fucked up. You know what I mean?
You dig it?
Agree.
No doubt.
So ultimately, we need to wrap this shit up. I think there's a way, but I think the way of fixing the issues is not going to be comfortable. And I think until we're, as a community, ready to be uncomfortable, shit ain't going to change. And it's going to be the same way. And we're going to just continue complaining about it from generation to generation because we're not willing to allow ourselves the discomfort of struggle to make sure that things are changed long term. I think that's just kind of where we're at.
Can you say, I mean, like I said, like, I just want to say, like, what's the true outside of, like, I get it. Like I said, back then, though, everybody was dirt poor already for the most part. You had a few celebs that was through the cracks with it. So it was kind of easier to sit there and just book because you didn't have fucking shit to lose. And at that point, it was do or die, but everything's in a different state now. A lot of shit, like financially, with a lot of things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's easy to say that from a position where you ain't on that type of tier. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't,
but
I'm not saying I would. Like,
I think that's the thing. I think that there's more black wealth now, which makes it easier to do something like that and still be okay. But it's just the fact of being uncomfortable is where the problem's at.
I don't think spending power and wealth are the same thing.
Spending power and wealth are not the same.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of both. We don't. I mean, you can't match ours with theirs, but you can match ours to something substantial.
Nah.
Like there's money there. Like if those dudes could have done it literally with having nothing, you can do it with something that you have.
Nah.
It's just you're not willing to risk your something to go back to nothing. That's all.
Nah, like when we was in high school, I could buy shit that the Wayans brothers was wearing on their show from a McDonald's check. And then they was like, oh, shit, we got to put y'all motherfuckers in designer because the shit y'all got is too accessible. Like I had this fucking Fat Farm outfit that Wayne, that fucking the boy, I don't remember, I think it was Marlon, wore on the fucking Wayans Brothers episode. It was a fucking yellow Fat Farm t-shirt, rugby shirt, and some fucking Guess jeans. I bought that shit with a fucking McDonald's check, with one check.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the shit that they have on TV now, like you ain't working at McDonald's and buying no motherfucking Gucci t-shirt and fucking.
But that's the thing. You don't have to buy it. Nobody's making you do that.
No,
So
absolutely.
it's just
But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference in wealth and buying power.
right.
That's
But
what I'm
it's
saying. That's the difference.
our buying power makes them wealthy. That's
Them,
my
not
point.
us. Right.
Right. So if we take that buying power and put it back into us, it creates our wealth.
Yeah, but
Instead
we
of
ain't,
making
'cause
them
instead
more
we
money.
buying it.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Until you're willing to be uncomfortable, shit's gonna stay the same way.
I don't know, man. I just don't know if it's the comfort level. I understand what you're saying, though. I just don't think it's the same thing.
Cool. Y'all got something else before we get up out of here?
I'm fucking drunk. That's what I know.
What you got, real PJ?
Nothing.
Just nothing, huh? You don't got no exercise, no nothing. Just
I got a motherfucker thing.
Everything's been said.
Y'all think it's stupid. That's
Right.
what I got.
I'm too mature for this
What the
conversation.
fuck is wrong with y'all dickheads?
Yo, Eddie, I mess your internet up again.
God, this nigga hate me. Yeah, I ain't even. You know what?
It's Black History Month. Can we stay together, fellas? Like, you know what I mean?
Nah, because y'all wanted to start off Black History Month talking about Tom Brady.
I was shocked.
I feel like
yo, and he's in Atlanta where they came back on them niggas. Like he just did he just disrespected the whole shit. Like Shaw just started off all.
Yo, I feel like as soon as February 1st hit, PJ thought to himself, you know what? I don't like that nigga, man. I don't
think it was February 1st.
It was when he first met me, yeah.
It was like
the first introduction.
98.
I don't like this nigga at all. And I'm gonna try every turn to let everybody know that I don't fool with him.
It might have been February 1st, 1990 something, but
Oh, man. he probably be pillow talking with the wife. Yeah, you know what? I really don't like Eddie, yo. Like, why does he even have my name? It's pointless.
Well, y'all pillow talk the same, so y'all think it's casual talking while you lay there, like you know.
Is that what it is?
That's
like,
what
opposites attract, but when motherfuckers is the same, like you kind of like, you know, oil and water type shit. Is that what it is?
No, you endorsing the fuck out of that.
Nah, both of y'all PJs like to lay there and be like, "Hi, wife. Let's talk about this evening." Like, you know, like, well, that's after for him. After you get off the road, you already expressed. When you get off the road, you be like, babe, XYZ. Him, he walks in the room.
Goddamn much when you get home.
And then after he gets out the shower, he just picks up a saxophone, just start playing slow songs.
Kenny G on that ass.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he just does that. So, you know, it's something about that name PJ that makes pillow talking, you know, something different. So
you see how he throwing shots at us, and you want to just come at me.
Listen, PJ.
Wow.
PJ, you know. So listen, I don't even know what y'all talking about, but you know what I mean? Like,
that lame square shit, bro.
Yo, that lame square shit. You know, I was doing that lane square shit with my Ferrari, but you know what I mean? Like, but that's what that is. Like, but
that's
nah, we smooth. No, we smooth, right?
Nah, we good.
Yeah, we almost 2 hours in.
I mean, yeah, we done.
Y'all almost 2 hours in.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Check us out on all our socials. And shout out Bugs, who wasn't here. We miss you, family. See you next show.
Yo, get well, son. Heal up, because we already know your eye is super swollen and shit. And your nose is bloody.
Some frozen peas or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Put a steak on
the straight frozen bag of peas, not the ones with the carrots.
It's okay, man. We got you back.
And don't listen to R. Kelly Real Talk again before you have a discussion with your lady.
I hate y'all.
Y'all petty as hell, guys.